When it comes to gaming, open world games are among the most famous and widely enjoyed. In between Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption and even Assassin's Creed, there's a game that many overlook, and it's also considered to be one of the most underrated games to ever come out. Released in 2012 and developed by United Front Games, Sleeping Dogs was originally set to be part of the True Crime franchise before being cancelled by Activision. Published by Square Enix, Sleeping Dogs has 59 achievements and it's for sure going to be a grind with 187 collectibles to grab in order to get the 100%. It all starts on a rainy night when Wei Shen, an undercover cop, is sent to prison to make contact with his former childhood friends who are now part of a triad called Sun On Yi. In the holding cell, he meets Jackie Ma, who becomes his connection to Winston, a Red Bull in the triad. When we finally leave prison, Jackie takes us to meet Winston, and we start to learn more about Wei's past. His sister became addicted to drugs, thanks to a Red Bull named Dog Eyes, and died as a result. On our way to Winston, we are introduced to the combat system, and it's amazing. We meet Winston, and since we are the new guy, our first mission is to extort some money. Where have I seen that before? And after collecting some cash, it's time to spend it on outfits. Our second task is to find out why someone from Dog Eye's turf was collecting money on our side, so we parkour after him until we have to take down his underlings. Shoving one of them inside the vent gets us. While beating the rest gives us a gold stat award. The game has something called the stat awards that go from bronze to gold. The more times you do a certain action, the higher your stat award go, and in order to get the pure gold achievement, you need to have 30 gold stat awards. After taking out Ming, we are arrested once again, this time by Inspector Tang, who learns who we really are. After being released, we get with all the side content the game has, like karaoke, police cases and even Wordle but with numbers, we can start working on getting all of that done. We have 3 skill trees we can level up: Cop, Triad and Face, and in order to get the Ultimate Fighter, Super Cop and Great Face achievements, we need to grind all these 3 to level 10. The collectibles are split into health shrines, lockboxes, security cameras and statues. Luckily for us, we can go on dates with 4 different girls who each help unlock these on the map, making them way easier to find. One of these girls is Amanda, also known as Emma Stone. After meeting her and cruising around the city, we eventually find the dojo where we can trade in the statues we collect for new combo moves. A few more hours of doing favors for the locals, and we start leveling up our face. Back to serious business, we meet up with Jackie, who wants to steal some cargo from Dog Eyes to prove ourselves to Winston. After beating up a bunch of thugs and chasing down a few cars, we finally get our hands on a shipment, only to find out they're fake watches. So all that work was for nothing. We leave Jackie to handle things while we head back to doing our cop duties. We take down some bad guys and get Winston wants to take Dog Eye's bus route to himself because apparently there's a lot of money to be made there, so after taking control of several bus stops and arresting a poor driver, we get the job done. Back to being a proper cop, there's this drug dealer named Popstar who supplies the triads. After tailing him for a while, we catch him in the act, and with some solid evidence, we wrap up our very first case. After we took over Dog Eyes' bus route, he decides to get back at us by stealing our protection business from a local club. That doesn't sit well with Winston, so we got to take back what's ours by having a little chat with the manager. We get inside, but the only way into the VIP room is by charming the hostess. And what better way to do that than by showing off our karaoke skills. Once we make it upstairs, the conversation quickly turns into a fight, and there's nothing like grabbing a fish and using it as a baseball bat to get our point across. After dealing with Dog Eyes guys, we take out the bouncers and finally corner Benny in the bathroom, showing him that things can go smoothly as long as he leaves Dog Eyes and sides with Winston. The very next day, Winston wants to talk with us and starts hinting that we might be a rat. After talking our way out of it, we deflect it to Ming, who ends up biting the bullet instead. Back to side missions, while fighting for my life with a butcher knife, we get After going on dates with both Amanda and Tiffany, collectibles start showing up on the map, which definitely speeds up the grind. But we can forget that we are still a cop and we got a job to do. We need to plant a bug inside Winston's office so we can get all the intel we need. We parkour onto the roof and we break in without anyone noticing. Not long after, Tiffany calls us asking for help. Turns out her boyfriend gave her a gun to hide and she wants us to get rid of it. Later we find out the gun actually belongs to one of Dog Eyes guys. We meet up with Pendrew to talk about it and figure out what happened to the dead body found in a car. After a little crime scene reenactment, Pendrew decides to use the situation to his advantage and he frames Charlie, the gun's owner, for the murder of that triad member inside the car. We return to Winston and learn that Dog Eyes ordered a hit on his mother's restaurant and, although she is okay, the place is going to be out of commission for a while. In retaliation, we plan to hit his drug warehouse and take out the owner, but Wei suggests to take him alive and give the chairman of the Sun On Yee a bigger cut than Dog Eyes did. After a one-man raid, we get Siu Hua, the responsible. However, the place is now surrounded by cops, and after a blast, he flees inside the car and now it's our turn to chase him. And after doing an action hijack, we get into his car.
Are you fucking done?
We take him to Winston and our job here is done. It's time to tackle some races, and while doing so, we travel around the 4 districts, getting Back at the club, Winston asks Wei to come with him to meet the chairman. Fearing that something might go wrong, he asks us to take care of everyone in his stead. However, everything is fine and the chairman is actually very happy with everything that we have done so far, and even recommended us for a debt collecting job. We meet Roland, the debt collector, and are immediately put to work. After a small job, we meet up with Raymond, who wants to terminate the operation, but we convince him the opposite after telling him we just met the chairman. Doing more favors and races around town gets us to face level 5. And a couple more races gets us It's time to help out with Winston's wedding, so we are taking Peggy, his future wife, to pick some things. On the day of the wedding, Dog Eyes launches his payback, killing Winston and Peggy in the process. After clearing out all of Dog Eyes guys from inside the venue, we find Uncle Po outside with a gunshot wound, and, after taking him across the backyard protecting him, we finally get him to the hospital. After doing some cleanup and a few more favors around town, we earn 15 silver stat awards. And cruising around town without hitting anyone or anything gives us And while working on another case, we trace a phone, getting us With Mrs. Chu mourning Winston's death, she wants the person responsible and asks us to bring him in. We do as we are told, and after taking out a few of his men, we capture Ratface, the one who shot Uncle Po, and deliver him to her. She then asks us to leave her alone with him. We return to the club where one of Lee's men, Ponytail, shows up and tells us that Winston's cut of the profits now belongs to Lee. We refuse, which makes his guys to open fire, forcing us to fight our way outside. Eventually, we chase Ponytail in a car while fending off his thugs as Jackie drives after him. After a collision, The chase continues on foot, and following a brief fight, Ponytail flees when the police arrive. While escaping the cops, we are told to get into a limo belonging to Miss Jiang, a Red Bull, who saves us. In return, she asks for our help in the internal struggle against Big Smile Lee, since Uncle Po is still in the hospital. In the meantime, Jackie needs our help with a deal gone wrong after he got a bike instead of money. When we go to confront the guy who gave him the bike, it turns out to be Naz, the guy we were with before getting arrested. After beating him up and taking him as a hostage, we throw him in the trunk of a car and deliver him to a location where Tank takes him into custody. We return to the restaurant and find Mrs. Shu talking about Dog Eyes. She wants us to capture him and bring him to her, and that's exactly what we plan to do. We track him down near the shore and chase him in a boat. Boat chase, baby! Unfortunately, it's a short one, and we end up at the fish market. After taking out these thugs, we drag Dog Eyes to a car and toss him in the truck before heading straight to Mrs. Shu. With Uncle Po still in the hospital, a new temporary chairman needs to be elected, but before that, he wants us to be properly initiated into being a Red Bull. Regarding the chairman position, despite Big Smile Lee wanting to take over, his nephew assumes the role as Xiang makes a convincing case for him. For our initiation, we are tasked with taking down a drug dealer and we decide to take Jackie with us. The target is Young, someone who grew up with us at the orphanage, and after an easy fight against the thugs, we confront him until he pulls a gun on us. Just as he was about to shoot, Jackie fires first, saving our lives. Jackie wants to steal the shipment from the 18K, so we head to the docks. We infiltrate the area, open the back of a truck, and watch it drive away with Jackie inside. We catch up, hijack the truck, and stop only to find Jackie handling himself quite well. We bring him to a jewelry shop, but is caught up by the police, and being the guy that he is, he doesn't snitch on us. Little by little, I was clearing the side content of the game, and after doing another successful drug bust, we get and finishing another race gets us to face level 10. Hijacking our 5th truck gets us. And since I keep getting achievements while doing races, back to the story, we get a call from Ricky saying the 18K is at the hospital trying to finish off Uncle Po. We storm in, guns blazing, and after taking out several of them, they shut down the power. Which is kind of bad since Uncle Po is on life support. Using the power of Wordle, we managed to turn the power back on, but now we need to get out of the hospital before the police shows up. While tackling more collectibles, we find martial arts clubs in every district. Going there and winning all 6 rounds gives us Back with Ricky, we are introduced to Sunny, an associate of Big Smile Lee, and King, a producer. All we have to do is show King around town, or head to a karaoke bar, sing until we get tired, beat some thugs along the way, and then take him home. Time to go back to grinding some side content, and after 2 hours of exploring North Point, we finally find the last lockbox. While collecting for Roland, things went sideways and we decided that enough was enough. We find the last lockbox of Central. Back to Triad business, we need to pick up Vivian, a celebrity, and her friend Sandra. But instead of taking them home, Sandra has a better idea. She wants Wade to take them street racing. Since we don't mind, we go along and simply win the race. After an easy victory, we then take the girls home. Jiang believes Uncle Po's nephew has become too comfortable, and since he's a very superstitious person, we just have to bring him to his house, ruin his feng shui, and leave without getting caught. and we open the last lockbox in the game. Pray on the last shrine. Hack the last camera. And finish the last race. Taking a break from hard things, I decide to go karaoke for a bit. Be gone in a day. I deserve a record deal after this one. Right before we go out there making the last favor of the game. We then close the final case by stopping a group of kidnappers from taking more girls. Now that we have a couple of dollars to spend, it's time to buy every single vehicle available. Sonny assigns us to break into Vivian's house and plant a camera so he can blackmail her later if he ever needs to. After breaking in and setting up a camera, Vivian and Ricky arrive home, forcing us to hide until we get a chance to sneak out. Once we make it out safely, by jumping from the balcony, we meet Pendrew. After learning what we did for Sonny, he demands a copy of the file so he can finally put Sonny behind bars. In exchange, he agrees to release Jackie. Later, as we're preparing everything to hand over to Pendrew, Vivian shows up and tries to seduce Wei, but since he's a proper gentleman, he refuses her advances, knowing she's only there on Sonny's orders. We hand over what Pendrew wanted and he congratulates us, saying we did a good job and that our mission is over. Then he delivers the news that Uncle Po has died. Wei warns them that things would only get worse if Big Smiley takes over, but Pendrew brushes off the concern and threatens Wei, making it clear what could happen if he steps out of line. After trying to be good citizens and getting chased by cops on the highway, we casually shoot them down. After picking up Jackie from prison, we start getting ready for Uncle Po's funeral. Once we grab some suits, we head to the cemetery where the Red Balls have gathered, along with Pendrew and the cops. The 18K show up too, which is not a good sign. When Sonny arrives, Pendrew arrests him and Wei yells at Pendrew, telling him that he shouldn't be doing that at a funeral. Pendrew just replies that the 18K are about to do a city a big favor, right before bullets start flying. While taking down the 18K, we use a grenade launcher, getting us. After the 18K are finally dealt with, Big Smiley insists that he should be the new chairman, but Xiang argues that an election must be held. Lee doesn't like that and warns that choosing anyone else as chairman will have consequences. The very next day, Conroy texts us saying that something is going on, but before we go meet him, we drink a soda and get... We arrive at the car shop only to find Tran being beaten up by Big Smiley's men. After taking care of them, Tran hands us a gun and we get a text from Mrs. Shu saying the 18K are shooting up a restaurant. We rush over and help her fight them off, finding Mrs. Shu holding her own against one of the thugs. Once she finishes him off, we head into the alleyways defending ourselves from more Triad members. Eventually the police arrives, but we manage to escape and make our way to Ricky's apartment to convince him not to side with Big Smile Lee. When we get there, he accuses us of doing something with Vivian, but after proving otherwise, he joins our side and takes her to a safe place. After all that stress, we go shopping for new outfits and get... And putting a drunk guy in the trunk of a car gets us. We meet up with Raymond at the docks and he warns us to back off before Pendrew sells us out. Before we can even make a decision, we get a call from Jackie, but it's actually Mr. Tong, Big Smile Lee's main enforcer. We need to save our best friend. After being ambushed by his thugs, we learn that Jackie was buried alive in an island. We make haste to save him by jumping on a boat, and even while being chased by Lee's men, we take them out quickly and make it to the island just in time to save Jackie. Before moving on, it's time to finish the remaining miscellaneous tasks. We repeat the mission, and by using different melee weapons, we get Now it's time to gamble, baby! On rooster fights. Placing a bet in a winning rooster gets us and winning 50k in a bet. We complete the Zodiac tournament, and by finding the 12 statues, we get It's time to end this. Jackie texts us saying he wants to meet up, but when we arrive, the only thing we find is a disemboweled Jackie hanging as bait. Before we can react, we are knocked out and taken prisoner by Mr. Tong. We quickly realize that Pendrew did in fact sell us out, and now we are just being tortured. Limping and bleeding, we manage to take out a couple of thugs, and in the middle of the fight, we get After doing some parkour and taking out everyone in our way, we find Mr. Tong, and after a relatively easy battle, we defeat him, and now it's finally time to get some revenge on Jackie. Get his ass.
Sorry, Jackie. Fuck. Lee. Fuck the election. You did this, Lee. And I'm coming for you. Motherfucker.
We make our way to Lee, and after taking down an army of Triad members, only he remains. How is Wei still alive? What the hell? We chase him down the pier, jump onto a boat, and somehow survive the chaos. We finally confront him, fight him, defeat him, and shove him into an ice dispenser. Raymond meets up with us, and we tell him about Pendrew, who is currently on his way to a promotion, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. Days later, we receive a package from Jiang. Inside is video footage of Pendrew killing Uncle Po. With Pendrew in prison and no Triad left to worry about, Wei Shen is finally a free man. And after completing the extra races, we get Even though the story is over and everything we can do in the main game is done as well, we still have the DLC to complete. Nightmare in North Point starts with Wei on a date when suddenly former Sun Oni members get up from the grave for some unknown reason. The story revolves around sending the former Triad members back to the Shadow Realm, and in order to complete the DLC, you need to take down Dog Eyes, Ratface, and Ponytail once again, find the 10 Hell Shrines, save the citizens, and finally take down Smiley Cat. Finding all shrines gives us and taking down once again Dog Eyes, Ratface, and Ponytail gives us saving every citizen and exorcising a couple of ghosts gives us getting the 5 gold stat awards, and taking down Smiley Cat gets us Year of the Snake begins right after Wei returns to police work as a beat cop. The story revolves around a dangerous cult determined to blow up the city. In order to complete the DLC, you need to solve all of the cases, collect every piece of evidence, and finish all of the side missions. Stopping the first bomb gives us collecting every piece of evidence gets us taking care of the other bombs around town gives us and finally dismantling the cult gets us. Sleeping Dogs was one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had. It surprises me how people don't often mention this game when the topic of open world games come up. The characters are fantastic and Winston's death, just as I was starting to like him more and more, really hit me. But Jackie's death? And how brutal it was? I honestly don't have the words to describe how it made me feel. The game is gorgeous even by today's standards. The gameplay is fluid and honestly, the combat is surprisingly never boring. The more combos you learn, the more diverse moves you can pull off, and it's incredibly rewarding to turn a simple counter into a finisher. It's also amazing how alive the city feels and how hilarious it was to beat up random people with their own grocery bags. There were tons of collectibles, and at first it felt a bit overwhelming, but after a while it didn't bother me at all. It actually gave me a reason to explore even more and discover new things. You probably noticed that I barely covered the DLC. Honestly, while Year of the Snake was a nice change of pace, Nightmare in North Point felt like a bigger grind than the main game itself. But that won't change my opinion, not even for a second, about the masterpiece that is Sleeping Dogs. It may never get a sequel, but if it does, I'll be the first to jump back into this amazing world. If you watch my whole journey, thank you so much, and I hope to see you on the next one.